Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another round of Arbitration Studios, wheeling and dealing across the great Black Sea in the whole damn thing of the Mass Effect series. I'm JP Arbiter.
I'm Captain Jack.
I was more poetic than I ever thought I was capable of, and I'm never going to be able to do it again.
Oh, I believe in you.
So, we are returning to Ilium today to do not only a great mission in its own right, but a great story, probably the greatest contained story in the Mass Effect series in my mind. We are going to do Lair of the Shadow Broker, which ties into you gain access to it literally the second you get off of Ilium, and how it proceeds is kind of up to you. We're going to be getting the whole flow, and there's our girlfriend. So we have a couple of things that we do here. One of them is that in Mass Effect 1 we made Liara our love interest.
Right.
After killing Carthonasi. Because
as one does. Because
I
Carthonasi must die.
We are apparently in the minority, at least in our social circle, for that. Because our friends Chris and David both argue that that Kaidan is the superior character and the superior fire team member, and it was just that may be true, but it's Carthonasi.
Exactly.
It's like the University of Kansas. I cannot abide its existence.
It cannot abide.
Oh, but Ashley's racist. Yeah, but we can turn her around, and I do every single time.
And that's kind of my take. I mean, we're going off a little bit here with these two characters, but that's kind of my take, is that Kaidan has really no growth. I feel like his character just is kind of who his character is, which is cool, but it's not. I like seeing the growth. I like seeing Ashley's growth from where she is at the beginning to where she ends up. And that's honestly what I also like about Liara. Getting to see her character growth and character arc from the beginning. That's the characters I like in the game. The characters that we get to see at the beginning in the first game being kind of not ready for the universe at large, and then seeing them become the Shadow Broker, or...
Because to emphasize on that, when we meet Liara in Mass Effect 1, there was a meme that my brother-in-law had, and I kind of took on, which was Liara, stop trying to help me. I don't know if they intentionally programmed Liara specifically to not really know how to use her powers well, or if it was just a side effect of the squad mate AI just being kind of pants.
Yeah.
But Liara in Mass Effect 1 was every bit as underwhelming as her character personality as the barely an adult fish out of water. Suddenly I'm saving the world and thrust into combat and whatnot, and I would,
absolutely.
Daniel Jackson in the movie.
More Daniel Jackson in the movie, or at the very beginning of Stargate, like right in the first episode, where Michael Shanks first picks him up and starts playing him. You definitely have that. And you get that with a couple of other characters, although I would have to say that Tali is a little more fit for public consumption, if you will. Like she's a little more.
Well, she's fresh in her sealed packaging.
Yeah, she's a little more. I think. In the first game, I think she's a little more useful, Tali. But here's the thing: I go from with Liara barely ever using her in the first game.
To sincerely wishing she was a squad mate.
Wishing she was a squad mate, to being my main squad mate in 3. To being the one that I like using in 3.
Yeah, attacks are going over the place now.
That growth, and that's really all character, because as far as the mechanics go, you can learn to adapt and change and kind of play with any power set or what have you. But as far as
this area is sealed off. Please
the
step
actual
back
having
now.
the character
Sealed
and
off.
going through the
Why?
game and
Someone tried to kill
kind of
your friend,
interacting a
Commander
lot.
Shepard.
Liara becomes one of my favorites.
Thank you, officer.
And,
Your people are
and
dismissed.
that's one of the things I think that BioWare
You can't do that.
really
Already done.
did and still to a point does well, which is write these characters that you get to see these
Tila
wonderful
Vasir,
story
Special Tactics
arcs
and Recon.
Speaking of which, first
I
off,
heard your status was
Tila
reinstated.
Vasir,
Good. You're one of our most
fantastic
famous
antagonist in
operatives.
this.
Might not get you assigned
First
to
off,
later.
being thrown
I
into
assume you had
a
business with your friend this evening,
potential murder mystery,
was following lead on the Shadow
espionage, come
The Shadow
mafia
Broker.
thing is
Dangerous enemy
something
to
I
hunt.
want.
What
I
are the
want to
facts
see
so
more of
far?
it. It doesn't
About
need to be
25
all
minutes
games,
ago,
but
someone took a shot at Sony.
But this is the kind of
Note the
stuff that I
bullet
dig.
holes.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
very
She
like
stuck around for almost
part
4
Tom
minutes before
Clancy,
leaving the
part
Whatever she
I'm
was
talking
doing
Tom
wasn't
Clancy novels, you know, the drama
Yes.
element.
Liara isn't
Tom
here,
Clancy
where is she?
in space
If I
would
knew
be a
that, I
great
wouldn't be
way
sifting
of
through her
describing
crap. There's no blood, no body. It
the
looks like the Sony got away.
atmosphere that this
The sniper
section
didn't
of
plant
the
her kinetic
DLC
barrier. Clever
goes
girl.
through.
Paranoid.
But part like, you know, all of these like police thriller
Did the
chase
police find
things that
anything when they
involve
arrived? Just the mess and the
literally
bullet holes.
a
I
dirty
gave them a
cop
gold star.
sort of
Bullet
a
holes.
situation. That's the kind of stuff that's porn for me.
Well, no, and here's the, you know, there's a reason why
Liara was expecting me.
those kind of
She would
movies
have left a message here.
do
Her
very,
office
very
wasn't
well.
I'm
And
not
variations
surprised.
on
Alien
those
is
kind of
just
movies
Omega with
do
expensive
very
shoes.
well.
I haven't found anything
it's
useful
a-
for tracking her down yet.
You know,
knew
it
Cassandra
is
better
a,
than I did.
and I've said
Robert
this
should
about
have been
Mass
my
Effect
backups.
before.
Let me take a look
It
around.
is a collection of tropes, but in the best possible way, not in a, hey, we're gonna feed you this trope and here
The
you
rifle
go,
used to do that wasn't standard
and
issue.
and
The
you'll love it,
kinetic barrier
num
deflected
num
the
num num num,
shots.
eat it up,
They still
but more
managed
in
to
a,
penetrate the
we have a
glass.
story to tell.
It's crafted.
Yes, exactly, and I think that
It's part of my old armor.
every single
Looks like
trope
someone
that they
didn't like you
use,
much.
and they use a bunch of different story tropes, they do really well. And this right here, I think for a video game of its time, and of course
A doctor
we've
from
now
the University of
experienced,
Sirius.
you know, things like LA
She's
Noir
getting good use out of all
and different
that.
games that are specifically this kind of, and those are, but we're talking about a game within we're talking about a genre within the game. And
Yeah,
it's,
that's
you
not
know, we're
the
fitting it
Asari
into this sci-fi genre.
sure what
I think it's a wonderful
Silos.
way of doing it. I think this particular kind of thriller-esque sort of take is a great way of doing it. It is one of the first things that I played in this series that really got me in the sense of what the hell's going on. I'm not entirely certain what's going on. You know,
What is the rent on this apartment, you think?
oh my gosh, I totally like. What are the rents on these apartments?
Oh, hey, it's the Normandy. Oh,
The picture
hey,
changed
it's
when you touched
Eden
it.
Prime.
It must be keyed to your
No, I
ID.
hate Eden
What
Prime.
does it show now?
It's appropriate.
Like no, like I don't
Liara
hate
did
it
leave
as a
a
player.
message.
I like
There are a
Eden
few
Prime. I think it's great,
Prothean-looking
but
objects around
thinking
your
as a
apartment.
character,
Let's see what
like
we
at
can
this
find.
point, absolutely would loathe Eden Prime. Nothing good ever comes from being on Eden Prime.
That's where this shit all started. Gave me brain cancer. Alien
certainly
brain
does.
cancer.
Mhm.
You know, fucking forced me to work with this Turian who has a stick up his ass, this
Vasir,
wide-eyed,
something
I
here.
think, I can't really see past her visor,
Backup test.
Quarian, who
Let's try it
just,
on her
like,
terminal.
hero worships me and I think has a crush. Oh, and the Asari.
It looks
Don't
like
get me
she recorded a
started
call.
about the
What have you got for me,
Asari.
Zagat?
Yeah, but the
It was
Krogans are
tricky,
cool.
but you
Yeah,
picked the
Krogan's
best.
awesome.
Krogans are.
I can narrow it down to a
beautiful
cluster,
creatures.
maybe even a system. How soon can you have it? Shouldn't take long.
All joking aside, I think
Office.
realistically,
Area
Krogans and
frontiers
humans
in the
would
Dracon
be the
Trade Center.
tightest
Gotta say, though, to
of the
Sony,
species.
you're making me a
Like,
little
You weren't involved in almost
How big is
wiping
the
us
trouble
out,
that's
so
Yeah.
about this?
you're
Relax,
cool.
Zagat. I'll see
yeah,
you in a
that
few hours.
and, you know, humans can really have a
Sounds like
warrior
Liara found
ethos.
something
We can
big on the
really,
Shadow Broker.
you know,
And then someone found her.
and we
I
can
know where
be.
the Dracon Trade Center is. My
But
car's
also, I think out of
Let's go.
all of the, you know, we are tough. When
Mm-hmm.
you come to think of it, humans, like we don't think of ourselves as tough, But when you start breaking down,
There's that whole Reddit chain of humans are galactic monsters.
yeah, exactly. When you
Because we
start,
breathe rocket fuel
Very
and we can
Frontier's offices
metabolize
are located
anything,
on
and
the
we
third
put literal poisons
I don't hear police.
as far as other
We must
animals
have
are
missed the
concerned on
party.
our food to season it.
yeah, exactly. Like we are a lot tougher than we give ourselves credit, and we are stamina hunters.
Yeah, trackers.
Yeah, we just walk you down.
Don't run. You'll only die tired.
Exactly.
They
so
just took
here
out
we have
3
this,
floors to make sure she's dead.
I think
Bomb
We'll grab
blows
this
up.
guy
The
car
only
and seal
thing
off the
any of
building
our
from the
squad
top.
mates say
slide
in
down
this,
here and work
and
my
I
way
think
up.
it's can.
Just leave some for
I
me.
think it was already recorded rather than a new thing. It's just reaction to the bomb. On instinct, I always bring best friend squad on this mission because Tally and Garrus are awesome.
I always, no matter how many times I play this, no matter how many times I go through, no matter how many times I end up using best friend squad.
What happened?
like for the majority, like yeah, I switch out with,
Who are you?
with
What's going
individual here or there, especially to do their loyalty missions and whatnot. But for the most part, best friend squad just it feels comfortable to me.
Well, Garrus and Tally are very tech heavy, and in this particular setup that works. And then if you take Garrus and Garrus or Tally along with Liara at 3, you've got yourself a nice balanced squad setup to boot. So, and Liara in Mass Effect 3 is no freaking joke.
Yeah, well, that's where she becomes my favorite companion in Mass Effect 3, to be honest with you. And Liara is, and again, like you said, I really wish she had, after, like, they had added her as a companion after this mission. Where like it's hey, that's part of the DLC. You get a new companion
Casualty
that you
here.
can have throughout
Looks like he's got
throughout the
bullet
rest of the game,
wounds.
which is
Watch yourself,
Liara. That would have been
They used
fantastic.
military-grade
I think.
hardware.
That's not a complaint. That's not a I don't like this download. I don't like this DLC because it didn't do what I wanted to do. It's a if it had done that, that would have been awesome. But otherwise, I think this is such a fantastic DLC that. For me, this is the definition of what DLC should be. This Citadel, really most of the DLC that you get for the, I mean, there's some stuff. I will admit there's some stuff, but a lot of the stuff I really definitely
Overlord suffers from filler content. Those 2 other places you have to go before you finish the thing, and it really doesn't
Vizier,
like
I found a military-grade
it doesn't
explosive
have any
device.
connection to
Hasn't been
events
armed.
prior to the
Sloppy
game. It doesn't
work.
really have any
You use
connection
that
to
kind of
events
hardware when you
after
don't have time
the
to plan.
DLC and the rest of the game itself. And it doesn't really have any connections to Mass Effect 3 the
Vizier,
way Lair the Shadow
the Barrier
Broker did, and
Frontiers
the way
office.
that they
are
worked
signed in just a few minutes ago.
Understood, Commander.
Falling Sky
Yeah.
in Mass Effect 1. That had connections built in to Mass Effect 3 that were meaningful is the wrong word. That could provide impact and provide it in a way that would work. That would work no matter what. Same thing with this. Liara becoming the Shadow Broker is intrinsically important to the saga of this game.
Well, you in 3 I mean, and we'll talk about it more when we get to 3. But I do see what you're saying with it. It's not my favorite, honestly. In the game, it's either this or Citadel that are my favorite. For DLC.
Citadel for me though is one of those. To bring it back to Stargate SG-1, Citadel is one of those episodes that takes place entirely on base, and there's no like grand, big season important thing going on. It's the slice of life silliness.
And I think for me, that just put the icing on the cake.
Yeah, keep in mind, Citadel is important because of what it is, but that's because what it was a thank you for
Yeah.
joining us on this journey.
Yep. I think that but again, but saying that, we were saying that Overlord to me
Moving to position.
is what am I going with this? Overlord to me is not my favorite, and I acknowledge everything that you said about it, but I'm not mad at it.
Well, I'm not mad at it either, and in fact, Overlord strikes a very, very particular itch that I have in science fiction of that cyberpunky Ghost in the Machine sort of thing. I absolutely love that stuff, but it also just dropped the proverbial ball in terms of the only reason I have to play Overlord is the fact that I want to play Overlord.
Right.
It doesn't have the feel like it enhances Mass Effect 2.
Right. And you get there's some, like, when you do it, there's some callback, and of course there's a little bit of call forward in in Mass Effect 1. There's a mission on the moon with and I'm just remembering this now, so that's why I'm bringing it up, with the AI. And then, so there's some connection, but it's, like, loose. And it's not, like, if you don't do that particular mission in 1, and you don't do the particular... So, if you do it, you get something in 3, but you don't need it. Like, what you get in 3 is not...
In the case of if you do it in... if you do that moon mission in 1, it also enhances you because it unlocks your class specialization. The fact that it's also very intrinsic to the story of Edie, that's the call forward, and not everything needs to be a call forward.
Right.
My favorite example of this is the organized crime boss that you can either kill, convince to walk away from her empire, or keep going and just be an asset to you as a Spectre down the road. She didn't need to appear in 2.
Yeah, no.
That's the kind of call for the kind of, quote, impact of your decisions that doesn't need to continue. The thing that we see right there, we as people see that the informant is killed right off, and then everyone, from the audience perspective, everyone knows that right out there that Vasir was covering her tracks.
Damn.
I actually,
Might have been a few
like,
seconds faster.
it took me a second to get what was going on. Like, I actually, the first time, like afterwards I was like, oh, how could I have been so stupid to miss that? But before, because I was in the moment, and I was just playing the game,
Did you find your
and
friend's body?
I had my
You mean
newborn
this
daughter
body?
in my lap, and I had a blown Achilles tendon. Like, all of this stuff kind of combined together for me to just be very
Liara,
engrossed
this
in the
is
game.
Vasir.
And so
She's a
I
Spectre.
wasn't overthinking anything the first time I played it.
This is the woman who tried
And
to kill me.
it was actually kind of neat until, of course, Liara comes in, and then I was like, how did I miss all
I
that?
saw you.
Because you
I
had a
doubled
blown
back
Achilles
after I
tendon, you had a
left.
newborn
I
daughter in
watched
your
you
hand,
break
and
into my
frankly, you got,
apartment.
you're a little bit brain damaged anyway.
You
So,
find a message?
But I was perfectly fine with it. I was not offended at all that
Once she had my
I got taken
location.
in.
She signaled
now
the Shadow
the other
Brothers
thing
forces.
is that for me is
They
that I was
bombed
able
the
to pick
building
up on
to
it
take
right
me
away
out.
because again,
She found Sakata,
the
took
movies
his
that
data,
these
and
that
killed
this kind of plays off
I'm
of, the
guessing
tropes
she's still
from,
got the disc
are
on
the
her.
kinds of movies
Good
I like to
guess.
watch anyways. So it's
Right.
like, oh yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it was one of those things. When I first saw Vasir, I would, to quote Mr. Torg in Borderlands 2, "Is it just me, or is this person gonna totally betray the fuck out of you?"
Indeed.
So that's kind of, I love this, the whole slow motion fall because biotics, and it's just like, oh, if we fall we both die, but if we, so I gotta risk prolonging the fight in order to save my ass.
Ow.
And then Liara totally being a badass, like, no you fucking don't.
She hood slides.
Yep. That wasn't Liara, that was Vasir. So.
I know. Just hood sliding is cool. It
Which-
doesn't matter who's doing it.
Which is funny because they didn't need to do that.
No, of course they didn't.
It's actually more efficient to jump up and then leap off the damn thing and then roll, because it maintains your forward momentum that way.
But it doesn't look as cool. Come on now.
That shit totally looks cool in 3D, yo.
Indeed. And here we have
Now,
the running gun. I do enjoy this part of the mission where it's really a selection of chase and then mass combat. Chase and then
chase, firefight.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that because this force is a group of professionals, not the glorified gangs that the Suns Eclipse and Blood Pack are. That they're doing things like flashbang grenades to disorient. That they're taking cover. That they have heavy weapons and are using them intelligently. In this particular case,
pinned down.
The fact that we're sentinels and thus damn near impervious to damage, that's sort of an oh shit moment. But that's when you pull out your anti-tech skills.
Indeed, but and again,
Boop, boop. Sweetheart, that is a machine pistol. Go nuts.
We were saying, now comes one of the things I loved about this DLC, which was, you know what this story was missing?
A car chase.
A car chase. You know what makes every movie better? A car chase.
I mean, mechanically, it was the most dreadful thing to play.
Oh, yeah.
But I love the fact that it was there.
Exactly. So, my beautiful bride, my wonderful wife, and I, one of the things we bonded on when we first started dating was the fact that we believed that a movie should have explosions and car chases. That is a good movie to us. And so, yeah, for me, I love the car chase. Now, that being said, the mechanics absolutely blow ass.
I'm on it.
I just now realized that there was a dancing Wallace on a billboard.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
The
I mean,
snark
visually,
back and forth with Lair is also amazing. My favorite line being, does this thing have any weapons? It's a taxi. It's got a meter.
We need to go faster.
I
think the thing that bugs me too is that there's no vertical control whatsoever on this.
Yeah. No. Agreed. Really, honestly, the whole thing bugged me. But visually, it's stunning. And the snark is always welcome. I'm a fan of snark.
We'll be fine.
She's getting away.
But just one of my thoughts in this, the first time I played it, and then was that she has been a consummate professional, right? This person that we're going after has been a professional. Now, is she a professional like a good guy? No. She's just professional at her job until now.
Right, she's a Spectre. Spectres inherently are not good guys.
Where she's like dropping landmines in the middle lake, causing such a ruckus that it's going to affect capital. That is a no-no.
The rule on Ilium is you don't rock the boat.
I mean, look, you can do almost anything you want in a capitalist society as long as you do not affect...
Cost people money. More importantly, you don't cost the insurers money.
And that's the big problem right here, is that she is, right now...
That's a faster-than-light capable ship.
And that is an expensive piece of hardware that she just willy-nilly...
blew the fuck up.
Blew the fuck up. Blew the fuck up.
Not
cool.
I do love that this continues the long line in all of science fiction that faster than light travel is the single most expensive endeavor a sapient species can do.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Why didn't the rebellion just start ramming ships with at hyperspeed? Because it's expensive. Why do you think TIE fighters don't have hyperdrives?
You know, we talked earlier on about Stargate, and one of my favorite lines from Stargate, it costs $1 billion just to turn the lights on in here. You know, any form of fast and light travel, whether it's a wormhole to another planet, whether it's a warp drive, incredibly expensive, except for in
There's
Star
the
Trek
Zeus
where
car.
they have.
Come on, she can't have gotten far.
I hope
Lock
that
the
$1 billion
door.
just to turn on the lights is like on an annual basis and not every time it
Right.
switches. But
I mean,
I
it's the
digress.
United States Air Force. What do you think?
That it could go either way. Look, I mean, Richard Dean Anderson's suggestion of raising funds through a garage sale, well, one, like, a colonel would actually suggest that, and two, let's be honest, if Hammond was really an Air Force general, he would have approved it.
Well, since the actor that portrayed him was actually an Army captain, I believe he ended up as a captain. He may have ended up as a major or a colonel, I don't remember. But the actor was, in fact, in the military.
Which is why he was able to portray General Hammond so well.
Indeed. But no, I assure you, from personal experience, I have heard colonels make that suggestion. So, yeah, but this is, again, I think the first time I played through this annoyed the absolute living hell out of me, because it just felt like, when is it gonna end?
There, in fairness, like, 2 of these trucks could have disappeared, and the
Yeah.
game, and nothing would have been lost.
It would have felt, yeah, I think goes on a little too long, and as a DM, this is one of those situations where I feel like you put and I've done this before, where you think, hey, I'm making a challenging encounter for my people, and it turns out you just made an annoying one.
Well, part of this is that because this is one of the short bits where Liara is a squad mate, this was a chance to play with Liara. That's why it was so emphasized and why it was long, possibly overlong.
I mean, and that's fair, certainly. That's obviously fair, and you handled it quicker than
Well, that's
when
what-
you're playing it. It feels like it's a lot longer.
Well, that's why I pulled out the shotgun.
And now here we are going through random people's houses and stealing their stuff, which is a long.
It's a brothel. So, and the greatest line
see
coming
it.
up.
It is a long-held tradition in role-playing games to
What kind of hotel
walk
is
around
this?
stealing people's stuff.
What kind of hotel is this? It's a luxury resort with an exotic edge. Azure is slang for parts of the Asari body.
Asari body in some areas of Ilium.
Where?
Where?
Mainly the lower
Lower
reaches.
reaches near the
Near
bottom.
the bottom.
I
meant
meant
where on the body.
where on the Asari body.
So do I.
Oh, I love that line. So,
And if anything at all
I think that's
proves...
the crest just above the pelvic bone, right before the buttocks.
Now, if
can use
anything at all proves that Liara has matured and grown at this point in the series, that is it.
Yeah, all that needs to happen at this point is that she needs to take a concussion shot and go, ow, fuck, right in the tit.
We have to be getting close.
She's
I
tough,
mean,
I'll
if
give her that much.
they...
That's something that I like about in All Elite Wrestling, Soraya and Tony Storm, because they're British and Australian respectively, is that they don't shy away from using what is not crass language in their cultures. I do believe Soraya was fined not only by Tony Khan but by
TBS?
FCC
Yeah.
because she dropped the C-bomb.
Oh, yeah. No, and the thing is that a lot of this language is still considered crass in these other countries. They just don't care. Like it's just not because
it's also not like an unforgivable curse.
Right.
It's the equivalent of saying "ow, mother."
there are other things. Every culture has its own kind of things that they find to be apprehensible to say.
I learned that the French term "merde" is sort of like throwing all the curse words at once out there. Which is why when the French watched Star Trek: The Next Generation and heard Captain Picard say that, they're like, "Whoa!
Hey now.
It's not that bad."
Hey, hey you.
Drink some wine, read some Shakespeare, and calm down, Jean-Luc.
Now here, of course, we have
First off, You know what this game needs?
Tell those people
A
that
hostage standoff.
Exactly. Now
Please.
we're really collecting the tropes. I think really what
Get you out
the
of here safely,
DLC,
Marianne.
good DLC
Well,
puts
that's
in
good
tropes
to
that the
All you
game
had
forgot
to
to
do
put in
was walk
originally. And
Now
here
it's ugly.
we've had a car chase now.
Please.
Now we have a
Son.
hostage situation with a crying hostage with a great haircut,
hope
by the
he
way.
gets
And
Super good.
and of
I've
course
heard
invoking
losing
her
a child
children.
is just horrific.
Ah, yes. Because
Scars them.
we have to
I'm
we
going
have to
to end
absolutely
Vizier.
It's okay,
make sure that
Lair.
this woman
We'll
has
handle
gone
it.
from a pure professional
You want
to
Mariana's
a
little boy to grow up
piece
without
of
a
shit.
mommy show?
Thermoclips on the ground now.
Because
Power
because it
cells.
justifies what we're about to do to her.
And of course, because
Is that
we're
it?
like near
What?
Space Jesus,
Seer, I sacrificed
I
hundreds
sacrificed
of
hundreds of
save
lives to
Destiny
destroy
Ascension.
to save the Destiny Ascension.
I personally
I
destroyed
personally
the last
destroyed the last
Arachnite
Arachnite Queen. You
So
think
for
I
your
give
sake,
a
I hope your
about
escape
this
plan doesn't
woman?
hinge on me hesitating to shoot a damn hostage.
Did we kill the little Arachnite Queen?
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent.
Now we
Excellent.
Oh, table. And now we begin. Honestly, the one thing that Mass Effect 2 was missing, and Mass Effect 3, to be fair, a good boss fight.
I would like to point out that I missed an opportunity there, and I would like to say, Liara, get the table.
More appropriately would be, Liara, start helping me.
Start helping me. Yeah.
This is a great boss fight. Doing
It is.
doing the Vanguard teleport everywhere, taking full advantage of her mobility.
Absolutely. This
Um,
is and you
Sa-
were.
Saren did the same thing with his leaping back and forth, but I mean this was something else.
And you are absolutely correct. I think that's something that the Mass Effect series kind of did, like, looking at the Mass Effect series as a whole, it is in my mind near perfect. But one of the things that it didn't do great was a lot of boss fights. A lot of the boss fights didn't feel boss fighty, and they just felt annoying. But
Yeah, 'cause-
this one definitely feels.
Saren as the endgame boss was great for
Yeah.
two reasons. First off, you could convince him to just ice himself,
Yeah, that was always fun.
and you still had to fight him.
Right, but
Or if you fought him in both phases, it was good because it was mobile. And compared to in Mass Effect 1, you had Venezia, who was just a unkillable pillbox and throwing minions at you, or the Thorian, who was an unkillable pillbox and threw minions at you.
Yep.
Those are not good boss fights.
no. And the
Um,
thing, I liked the Thorian story. I liked the Venezia story, but the boss fight was just.
And in Mass Effect 3, the Atlas on the Solarian homeworld when you're getting Eve, that was good, and it was good use of introducing the thing that is wholly terrifying for the rest of the
Yes.
thing. Same thing with the Banshees. It's wholly terrifying when you first see it, and then
Oh my
when you
gosh.
show up, it's like, oh shit, now it's real.
But
There was in the Mass Effect 3 game, there was no good one-time only boss.
Right.
No,
No, absolutely.
good one.
No, you are absolutely correct. I completely agree with you on this.
And then a single Marauder was arguably the final combat encounter in Mass Effect 3, which was bullshit.
Absolutely.
So.
So one of the things about teleporting enemies that I find, and I've had this happen with her a couple of times when I've played through, but I find very that it's possible, is that in your moving around and whatnot, in your random running around trying to not get hurt and trying to hurt her, you may find yourself in or very near to the spot that she's trying to teleport to, and all of a sudden, blah! She's right there in front of you, and you're like, oh, shit!
Which is why,
God damn, I'm gonna punch you.
which is why, Mass Effect 3 kind of had that with their power attack thing.
Yeah.
But what really needs to happen in games where that is a possibility is some sort of maneuver you could do that would just create oh shit tackle, and just like your there's no elegance to the fight. It's just tackled down, and now you're just wailing on each other like John Moxley.
Yeah, no, I think a couple of games have done that and done that well.
But a lot of games have also done it and sucked at it.
Right.
Particularly when we had that era where everything had to be a quick time event.
Yes.
Saren?
Oh,
Why did those become known as QuickTime events? Because QuickTime was a media playing software that Apple
saved
had.
lives
I
and kept the
don't
Citadel
know,
safe.
but
So if
I
the
feel like
broker needs a
one
few
game
people
did it, and I was like,
disappear,
that was really
I'll
cool.
pay
It was a
that
cool
price
idea.
without
And then all of a sudden,
hesitation.
now every game is doing it.
And then the timing on
yourself
them
whatever
just
you
became
like.
more and
The council
more
would never
about, let's
accept
see
you
how much
working for the Shadow
attention
Broker.
deficit disorders you
council.
have.
Right?
You pay them
No.
lip
Oh,
service
that
while
was what
working for
got
terrorists?
killed my
You
interest
have
in a
any
game that
idea
was
what
based on
Cerberus has done?
the Wolverine.
I know
X-Men
who they
movie.
are and
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It
Because
doesn't
you
matter.
needed
I think
very
it does.
precise
You want
timing
to judge me?
for
Look in
a
the
sequence where, let's be
Kidnapping
honest
kids
with
for
you,
biotic death
you were
camps,
falling from a plane and
killing
killing a
Alliance
sentinel.
admirals who ask
and
questions.
It was one of those things. It took me so long to do that we would have
judge me.
gone splat on the surface of the Earth like 8 times.
Yeah, no. And honestly, right here, I love this section right here shows what BioWare, I think, is truly good at and can be good at and should be able to be good at again. EA,
Vizier's dead.
Get out of the
I'm
way.
putting the data through to the Normandy's
Like,
computers.
just let
We can be
BioWare
at the
do
Shadow
what
Broker's
BioWare
base in a
does.
few hours.
And that
He'll
is
know about Vizier before long.
write a
If he
story
decides to
and
kill
write
Fran.
interactions
won't do
between
it, Todd.
characters that
We'll need the
feel
Normandy's stealth
real,
systems
that
to
feel
get us in close
performed
undetected.
like
The Shadow
an
Broker's
actor
agents are
would
still
perform
shooting
on
their way through
stage
Ilium.
in
With luck, they won't notice we've left until
or in
it's
a
too
movie.
late.
It's a little cold. They killed
Hey,
innocent
babe,
people.
pay attention to me,
You know what
okay?
I mean?
We
Do
saved
I?
each other's lives,
When
we
I hit
shot
the
some
ground
people
back at
up,
the
it's
trade
like
center,
old
you went
times,
to Vizier
and
without
just like
backward
old times,
look.
after
A little
shooting,
fall wasn't
I
going
want
to
a
kill me.
kiss.
I had to stay on
After
Vizier.
shooting
I
comes
had
the
to stay
scissoring.
rational. Make the call.
Because
Like I did with Sagat.
everybody
That's
loves the acclaimed!
Sagat had no idea what the stakes
How many
were.
AEW references
I put
can
him in
I
harm's
make
way
this
to get the
video?
data I need.
Jesus.
We're
I got
going
it.
for a record.
do it
Hey,
again.
look. You know,
from
we
here
have a
on
fan
out, things
base
will be simple.
of
Get
3
in,
people,
get
but we
fair.
do have a fan base, and they're all
kill anyone who
AEW
tries
fans.
to stop
us.
My mom is also
That's
on here,
it.
and she doesn't know
That's it.
what the hell
just
we're
stop
talking
for a
about. But
second.
you know, it's my
We took
mom,
them
so
several light years. There's time
what are
to
you
talk.
gonna do?
About what?
My wife doesn't
About
even watch
what?
this stuff.
Shepard, listen. I'm glad you're
but
here.
You worried
know,
there might
we
be
have,
terminals you need me to hack?
and it's
That's not
kind of
fair.
fun to
You
go
were
back
dead.
and be
I
looking
came
at this stuff
back.
and realize
It's
that
not that easy.
You were dead.
You
I
can't just
got
come back.
better!
You have 2 years
they
of mourning suddenly
the
vanish.
graphics were, I mean, at the time obviously the graphics were cutting
I'm
edge
sorry.
and
I can't
really ahead of their
do this.
time and wonderful, but
For now,
looking back
let's
now
just
after
focus on getting
playing
Farron
games
back.
that we
Fine.
have now versus then, you know, so they had to do a lot with acting and story. They had to do a lot with the performance, and I appreciated that.
And honestly, this right now is kind of like a graphical apex where it's like, this is like, it's not even my floor. This is my, this is like the ideal for me.
Yeah.
In terms, I don't need hyper-realistic, super high-end graphics to enjoy a game. My eyes are getting the shit anyway.
That's understandable.
So you know, like we don't need you don't need to spend the resources to up the fidelity of the level it is. I still kind of regret making our Shepard's eyebrows the way they are, but that's my fault.
I mean, look,
I
they
look
are
inside.
regrettable.
I wanted to. I was going for pencil thin, and I didn't think, and I must have interpreted that as literally drawn off with a pencil.
But you know what?
There's a
Every
constant
girl
lightning storm where the hot
does it
and cold
at
air
some point
collide.
or another.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
What do you think of this shit?
I dig it. Honestly, I dig it for what it is.
Because one, it's not a spaceship.
It is not, and it is not a combat vessel either. And so for me, I think that it fits what it needs to and does what it needs
I'm
to.
picking
It
up
is a
signals from a
ship
communications
built
array near
for
the
a
back of the ship.
purpose.
There's nothing
It
below.
is almost a
But maintenance
space station.
We have to find an entrance
In
near
reality, it's almost a space station,
Back
and
shooting.
the physics behind
Well, drawing first off, being on a planet that is a lot like it was one of the prison planets in the Chronicles of Riddick movie where the planetary rotation is just so bloody fast.
Yeah, and I think that the physics dictate the shape of the vessel, and I think the physics dictate, how the vessel operates and whatnot. And I think they did a really good job of saying, here are the physics, like good sci-fi should. If you're going to make something up, which is perfectly fine, but once you make it up, that is the rule in your universe. That is the law.
Yeah, you don't have to explain in scientific principles how something works, but you do need to explain how it works. And in this case, this ship draws its primary power from the fact that it is flying essentially in the zone of hurricanes between the light and dark side of this planet that's unbelievably close to its sun.
Yep. And it's doing that in order to keep the Shadow Broker hidden.
Yeah, because who the fuck would want to come here?
And that's like the Shadow Broker has decided that the best way to protect himself is to be hidden, not to be in like this nigh impenetrable dragnet, which I think is a wonderful change of pace, because a lot of times games will be like the leader is in a super star destroyer with extra guns and 5 extra squadrons. They try to make it big, or a star destroyer, or what have you, or,
Make it unassailable.
yeah, exactly. Whereas this it's all about being hidden, and I like that. I like the change. I like the secret lair type idea. So yeah, as far as ships go, as far as this sort of thing goes, I'm down with it.
I remember there was a comic book, to bring it back to Star Wars for a second, where it detailed that Emperor Palpatine's in case shit goes south on Coruscant vessel was a super star destroyer that was buried underneath a hunk of the city. It's just like, a super star destroyer is your bug out boat.
Yep.
No, you want something fast, small, and stealthy. You don't want something big and ostentatious, dude. This is why Palpatine was overthrown twice.
And if memory serves, during the Legends or during the expanded universe books, that Super Star Destroyer does in fact come into play. Mm-hmm. However, I think that
yeah, but that's because it was brought into service because Palpatine felt he needed more shows of force after the Death Star was blown up.
Well, yeah, no, I think that we talk about boss fights in this game being few and far between the good ones, and I think that the reasoning, like in my head, one of the reasons that is because you don't have a lot of bosses. You have a lot of people who are professionals trying to do a job. They're not, Saren, sure, he wanted to take over the universe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's be honest here. There aren't many good bosses in Mass Effect because we're the final boss.
It's true.
We're Agatha goddamn Fisty. We're the baddest bitch in this galaxy.
Exactly. But
I do love doing that, using lift to just have people go, whee!
That is fun in whatever game you're doing. Like, it doesn't matter what game you're playing in. It is fun as hell to do. The only problem comes in is if you're in a game where people drop stuff and you throw them off and you don't get what they dropped, and then you're sad.
Borderlands 3 solved that. They have this thing called the Lost Loot Machine.
I wonder what happened to the
And
contractors.
it's exactly what it says on the tin. If you don't pick something up, it will pick, that thing that wasn't picked up will get relegated to this pseudo vending machine thing at your home base.
That's comforting.
And if you're over capacity, it will prioritize by what is the most potent stuff.
Did you bring Tally or?
I brought Garrus.
Okay. I like to bring Tally on this one because she's
Tech powers.
And because as an engineer, she has a lot of interesting things to say about this ship.
I brought Garrus, to be honest, for firepower sake.
Hey, look,
because we're a Sentinel and we are as a biotic, and so we're not packing a whole lot of heat.
no, that's your fisting will only get you so far. So I totally understand. I like, and really, Garrus is never a wrong choice. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
I think that in all 3 games, Garrus is the never a wrong choice. He might not necessarily be the best choice, but he's never a wrong choice.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is kind of how I judge the companions in any game.
Garrus is your yardstick, huh?
Garrus is my yardstick. If you're not bringing it like Garrus, I'm not. Like, for instance, Tali is great in certain circumstances because she has great things to say, but she's not always necessarily the most effective companion for every fight.
Rex, meanwhile, in Mass Effect 1, Rex was great in combat, and he was great in his story moments that were fixed story moments.
Yeah.
But in the random commentary department, Rex was kind of lacking.
Yep, absolutely. No, completely.
Now they fixed that in 3.
Oh yeah. When his stuff in the Citadel is just priceless. I love to see them floating through the air like that. That just pleases me. Ragdoll physics.
Well, they're inherently funny.
They're inherently funny, but they're also, in my opinion, one of the greatest things come up with for video games.
Well, it's not even like something intentionally come up with. It's just when it was first a thing, it was just, you know, okay, at this point we trigger a thing where everything goes limp, and when everything goes limp but it's still moving.
I love it. I think it's hilarious. It's never not funny to me, no matter how many times I see it.
It's sort of like sensor beeps. Yeah, they were created to protect the the decency of the audience or whatever in public broadcasting, but all they did was make it funny.
Yeah, all they did was make it funnier. It's funnier.
And what's even worse is that when they tried to go, okay, we're not going to do the beeps, instead we are going to like just mute it. It's like that's still a beep.
Still funny. I think that with you looking at this, and we're talking about the ship and everything. I do think sometimes it might be a little overly long. Honestly.
Well, in this case, it's overly long because we started at the bow and we're going to the start.
Right.
So
right. I think that maybe this is slightly a little long, but when you're playing it, it really doesn't feel that. So I feel like that's the that's kind of the like we said, Garrus was the yardstick of companions. And by the way, I use that for every game I play. Like, if your companion isn't bringing it, if the companion in your game isn't bringing it like Garrus, and that's on all like the random banter, the actual help that he provides, the like all of it, then
they're gonna non-combat enthusiasm to stuff.
Yeah, they're gonna stay back at camp, or I'm not gonna get them at all. I'm looking at you, vampire guy from Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, it didn't help that he was also really rapey.
Yeah, very, and here's the thing. I have never, even characters that I don't like in Mass Effect, I have never looked at them and gone, I'm gonna leave you behind. Like I'm not even gonna get you, because you annoy me. Like I've never done that.
The only character I think we all agree that we would want to leave behind is Jacob, and we're stuck with him.
Yeah, it's true. That's absolutely true. And many people will say, "Oh, but you leave Caden behind every time." Caden's not a person.
Also, I look at it this way. My logic on this, and I don't know if we discussed it, but my logic in leaving Caden behind has to do with where I assign Caden as an officer with communications training. Assigning him to the team was the best plan in my mind. Ashley is a NCO and it's kind of implied that she's a heavy weapons and demolitions person. Yeah, that's not like really discussed, but that's kind of, and it could be me imparting onto it.
Yeah.
But she needs to. So having her be the one to supervise the bomb made the most sense to me. That bomb is the most important thing in that facility. Everyone else has to. Everything else is secondary to blowing it up. So going back to ensure the bomb's safety is paramount. That is a decision I will make every time, no matter what.
Yep.
Hang on.
Why I assign who I assign to that, including private playthroughs where I do make Caden in charge of the bomb.
How long will it take?
I don't know, Shepard. I've never broken into the
that
Shadow Broker's base before.
that doesn't
Not
matter.
this one anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, I always send. I always send
Shot is working.
Ashley with the bomb because she's an NCO and I want it done.
Tested it.
And I know that the NCO is going to get it done.
because there are two people you trust to get things done in a military service, and that is an E4 and an E8.
That's true. And the reason I trust the E8 to get it done is because the E8 knows which E4 is going to get it done.
Also, frankly, the E8 doesn't want to be fucking bothered again.
It's true.
So it's got to get done the first time.
It's absolutely true. The E8 doesn't want to have to talk to the E9. And so we have a whole...
Well, the E9's sitting in a nice cushy office at Brigade, so...
Well, you know, and the thing is that E4 Mafia is certainly a thing, and I almost guarantee you it will be a thing this far in the future. It will be a thing forever. It is a thing that has been around since the Roman legions.
Frankly, it's going to be the thing more than anything else that humanity is going to give to alien species.
Yeah, alien species are going to look at us and go, how do you accomplish anything? And then
Find the most bored, frustrated
found-
junior enlisted man.
Yeah.
He will beg, borrow, steal, and sometimes commit light treason to make sure that orders are followed.
We achieve what we achieve militarily, and that's, you know, speaking to people, all militaries that have been effective on planet Earth and I'm going into the future will have an E4 Mafia. That is simply a guarantee. If you don't have an E4 Mafia, you will lose to somebody who has an E4 Mafia.
Because out of all the people on the line, you have your hotheads who are like, yeah, I can't wait to see some action. But it's the ones who are like, I want to fucking go home.
They want to take a nap. And your job is getting in the way of them taking a nap. So they are going to do whatever it is to complete the mission in the most efficient, quick way possible so they can get back to taking a nap.
Despot of the day touched our boats, and now I have to do stuff. Why? I'm angry. That's it. Let's go. I want my nappies and my chicken nuggies.
That's right. I'm a serious beefy guy. So we have a situation here, and there's a lot of these in the Mass Effect universe. There's a lot of these
Hold out and fight off.
Yeah, hold out and fight off situations, and this is per chance one of my favorite ones. Just because of the opportunities for silliness. You know, launching people off the sides and people floating by. Like you're focused on murder, right? And you're focused on this, and all of a sudden, out the corner of your eye, a person comes floating by.
Which would really stop a firefight.
It would, like Jimmy. I like to imagine that since these people are professionals, these people are not necessarily like evil supervillains.
They are. Stop helping me.
Or you know, whatever you have to say. I kind of imagine them. They're hunkered down and whatnot, and somebody goes floating off, and they're like, "Oh, Jimmy, he had children." You know,
I do like also the chance for sarcasm and lampshade hanging, where there was a where Shepard will say, you know, they'd be a lot more effective if they all hanged up on us together, and Liara is screaming, "Don't give them advice!"
Oh yeah, that one. I love that one. That one's delightful. Really, that whole bit is just delightful.
You know, it's a legitimate question. What would be more effective in this boarding action? Would it be a powerful semi-automatic rifle, or would it be something fully automatic?
Shotgun.
Well, okay. not on quarters that long, or at least you would want to have one shotgunner.
Yeah, no, Krogan with a shotgun.
Why does the Krogan need a shotgun?
Because it pleases me to give the Krogan a shotgun.
Isn't the fact that it's a Krogan enough? Hypothetically, yes. But
I mean, absolutely, Krogans are always enough. But you know what Krogans like?
shotguns.
Shotguns. Do you know what I like?
I've downloaded
Shotguns.
the ship's
Whatever
layout.
Krogans
We're
like.
headed toward the
Oh,
prison
well,
block.
okay.
I like making my Krogan happy.
I don't know if this qualifies as perversion or not, but I do worry. I don't kink shame, but I do kink why.
Oh, honestly, I like their personalities. I enjoy
That's what
their
somebody
personalities.
who is purely into them physically says.
It's the quads.
Today on Arbitration Studios, we explain why Captain Jack and JP Arbiter are going to hell.
I was married once. But anyways, so yeah, this right here, I think, really kind of emphasizes BioWare's ability to write a story that has feeling and impact, regardless of if this particular kind of bit kind of plays forward and kind of
We're getting you out of here.
affects the game or the ending or anything like that. They put it in anyways. They put it in as a story point. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about BioWare is that they have a
hell
lot
is
of
the
stuff
broker
that's
trying to
like,
do
this
to
is part of the
The
story.
equipment is
Does
sensitive.
I'm
it-
gonna be 100% honest
This
with
chair
you.
plugs into the
Almost
broker's info
every
network.
single time past the
You have to
first
shut
time
off
when
the
we go,
power.
when
Pull me
I
out
walked
now
by
and
this,
my
I was like,
brain
oh
clicks.
yeah,
Do
technically
you
we're
know
here
when
for
we
you.
can cut the power?
Mhm.
It won't be easy. You'll have to go to
Yeah,
central operations.
I think that
Easy or not, we're all
It's,
getting out of here.
Good.
I think that
Central operations is
I
down
like
the hall.
I honestly
The
like the
shadow
fact that you
broker
get a
is
chance
waiting
to
for
save
you,
this
right?
I'm counting on it.
We'll
it
be back
feels
for you,
good
Freeman.
every time I
Try
do
not to go any-
to save this guy. It's a I rarely get a feeling of accomplishment on anything ever. It's just how my brain works. So I rarely feel like, oh, whatever it is that people feel when they accomplish things, I don't really feel it. But I do feel good every time I save him. I feel like, it feels better than saving the princess in Mario, which never feels like anything.
Oh, that's because she's in another castle.
Exactly. And just honestly, as an old person, to see us go from rescuing the princess in Mario to this in a relatively short amount of time is pretty dang impressive. But I do, in fact,
Just like old times.
enjoy saving this guy.
Hey guys,
Where are our companions?
I have no freaking clue.
Where did they go? They went somewhere. Now we're fighting
Ow.
on our own. I think you get shot.
All right. Hey, you guys! I'm up here fighting all alone.
Everybody dead!
My office.
So here we are, walking in to...
Ladies and gentlemen, the Shadow Broker. Now this guy was a surprise. They had the balls to introduce a new species,
Yeah.
and then they had the balls to never really make them important ever again.
And I think that in a sci-fi kind of there is a drive
That bombing on
or
Ilium wasn't
like
exactly
a,
subtle.
idea or a feeling. I forget how
No,
to say it
it
this way, but
wasn't.
there's
Neither
a
was
tendency.
caging
The
Farron
word
for
I'm
2
using,
years.
wanting to use is tendency. When you introduce a new species, over fucking saturated. Like they're going to be everywhere now. Now you're going to fight 10, 15, 20. The first time
Someone
you
was
see an
bound to
ogre
come after you for
in
working with the
Dragon Age, you're
collectors.
like, oh, and then you never really see an ogre again until halfway through the game. So you're like, oh, ogres. Ah. This guy comes in, he shows up once,
It'll be
you
pretty
might
hard
see
to run a
another
base
one,
this
you
size
might
with
not
no
if you're
crew.
not paying attention throughout the whole series. it's awesome. Like, his impact every time I play through is relatively the same,
You're
which
quite
is,
confident for
holy
someone
shit,
with
look at
nowhere
that guy.
left to hide.
8 freaking eyes, 4 freaking arms. If you look, his forearms, there's no meat in between the bones.
You're not putting a
supporting them.
hand on anyone.
So that means that it's like fully formed groups of muscles to enhance its lift capacity.
Is that right?
And just looking at the dang
You're a
thing,
Yogg. A pre-space
built like
flight species
freaking,
quarantined to their homeworld
oh,
for
who's the guy
massacring
who's
the Council's
king?
first contact teams. This base
Glenn
is older
Jessup.
than your
Yeah,
planet's
built like
discovery,
him.
Yeah, and
which
you know,
probably means
and
you killed the original
they
shadow
are-
workers
it's
60
truly
years
alien.
ago. Then
I mean,
took
yes,
over.
it's
I'm
bipedal.
guessing
Yes, it
you
is
were taken from your
relatively
world by a
speaking
trophy
humanoid and
hunter
shit.
who wanted
But
a slave.
the it's alien.
Or
Like, it's
a
like
pet.
that
How am I
mouth,
doing?
that
A tricuspid mouth.
yeah, a tricuspid horn, like, and massive in size.
9 feet.
I don't get a good, but yeah, 9, somewhere around there. Just
Oh, reverse cantonese.
yeah,
And
digigrade.
I think not digigrade, still planetigrade, but definitely reverse cantonese, and I think double.
Antibiotics.
Well, it's a very alien, well, still staying
And then you think it's gonna be a cakewalk because you're behind cover, you're laying it down, and then he pulls out.
yeah, and then he pulls out.
Aha! I have the impenetrable force field. Point, 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 point.
Yeah, he got it right there.
The shield's kinetically
But
sensitive.
then it also
Energy
contributed
and
to the thing that I
projectiles are
said
bouncing
earlier
off.
that I wanted to see more of,
Then we do this the
which
hard
is
way.
Fisting.
Hit him now.
fisting. Oh, how sad. I'm Agatha Goddamn Christie. I'm the baddest bitch in the Milky Way galaxy.
Oh, shield. Oh, God.
Uh,
That's why Captain America is so effective.
I did not expect you to Captain America me on
Here they
this.
come.
Oh, shields suck. Like, as often as I create characters in games that are shields are so awesome. Like, shields really are.
Why do you think until the invention of gunpowder that shields and spears were the primary warfighting implements for armies?
It's like, I get it.
But here we go. Here we go. Vesta!
Boop. Little butt stock, little butt stroke action.
Hi, we're gonna tackle something 3 feet taller and 350 pounds.
Indeed. Oh,
Liara, stop helping me!
If you can get him to bring
But I
up
have
that
an
shield
idea.
again,
He
I've got
hit
an
me
idea.
with you. That's
I'm
not that was not the scissoring
There
I
they
wanted
are.
to do.
I'm gonna hit him with another one.
I'm gonna hit him with another.
I'll send them flying.
I love the fact that you basically have to shoot him in the butt.
Hold on. Space Slinger!
Yeah, they don't. And I love the fact that.
Got him.
I love the fact that they very clearly. And all be all like they exist
And they're very effective
and
and
they're
they're limited
very
amounts.
effective, but bullets are still because Sir Isaac Newton
It's the deadliest son of a bitch in space.
exactly. And
Speaking of which, I have no idea how we have it, but I'm just gonna roll with it.
hey, you know what, MacGuffin? We're gonna call it a MacGuffin.
Behold, I am awesome.
Behold, you are awesome. Now can we make with the scissoring?
Scissor me, sky blue.
Oh yes, love me.
Oh,
some
hey,
Ripley.
Garrus, you're here too.
Oh, forgot Garrus was there. like last time.
Oh,
but
hey,
anyway,
you're okay too, Farron.
hey, we saved Farron.
Shadow Broker, this is Operative Murat.
And this
We've
is
had
the
a momentary
moment.
connection failure. Can you confirm?
And I do love this. It's the you know, congratulations, you just overthrew the evil government. But no, you haven't. But now there's this whole structure that supports it.
Yeah, this is the one of the few times in video games and in media where you actually see, hey, you know, there's a logistic structure around this guy. What are you gonna do with it?
And yeah, it legitimately, I thought up until she actually spoke, I thought she was gonna pull the plug.
I did too.
And that's just good
I thought
storytelling.
the first time I played through, I thought she was going to pull the plug, and she
However, we are
was
now
going
back online. Resume standard
the
procedures.
Shadow
to
Broker
come
is
with
dead.
us. That's what I thought. And instead, she makes
Shadow
the
Broker
choice
out.
Goddess of
to
Oceans. It's you.
become the new Shadow Broker.
How?
And honestly, I think that's really awesome.
Everyone who's
And
ever
it's
seen him in
potent,
person
too.
is dead.
Yeah.
Because it's holy crap, there's all this responsibility
Shadow
that
Broker.
I wasn't planning on.
Is taking
Yes,
over as the Shadow
absolutely.
Broker
Get out,
really a good
get out.
idea?
It was either that or lose everything.
Precisely.
His contacts, his trading sources.
Yeah,
Those will
it's,
really help us. With the Shadow Broker's information network.
Overall, I think the Shadow Broker is
I can give you-
really kind of sets a bar
I can.
for DLC.
Check the power
In the
system.
sense of you get a tight beginning, middle, end story that adds to the game, doesn't take away from the game, isn't you know, hey, pay us $25 for a new sword.
Horse armor.
Yeah, is not a microtransaction
2
by any
years.
means. And
It's alright.
we get some huggies.
We get this we get more than huggies. So
It's been
anyway,
2 years.
Liara,
I
I've
don't-
been waiting to say this for
We're
an
different people.
hour plus now.
You have your mission.
You, your ass, my ship, now. I'm gonna make love to your woman. All right.
You know, I was just gonna let you roll with that. Honestly,
That would be a disgrace
Let's
to
see
Isaac
what our
Hayes'
options
memory.
It would, but it wouldn't be the first disgraceful thing you've done.
But not to Isaac Hayes' memory.
It's true.
He
It's
never
true.
anticipated
I missed an
anyone
opportunity
but
for an
himself.
ex-wife joke right
And
there,
it's
but
all
you know,
lies.
it is what it
kind
is.
of
You're
information
not
are we
always
talking
up to speed on these
Sure.
things.
I'll need to go through his files. Come back later and I'll try to have something useful.
But here we have.
All I wanted was to rescue
and if you
Farron,
look at
but
this
is it
picture right
wrong that
here,
part of me
Shepard
wants
is
this?
in fact checking out Lair
With the Shadow
Lair's,
Broker's network,
backside.
I can help.
because
Maybe I can
I
turn
don't
this
care if she
operation
was
into
called
something
given undue
better.
deference. I don't care if she was forced
Don't be
on
a
the
stranger
player.
this
It's
time.
Liara to
Small
Sony.
chance.
Because, and I would like to point this out as somebody
back
who
soon.
has gone into a successful long-term marriage at this point. Checking out your spouse's ass is always acceptable, as long as they are consenting.
All right. Well, that is the Lair of the Shadow Broker. We're gonna take off, kids. See ya.
Deuces.